It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman, and this show is brought to you by CartKing.com. That's cart-king.com. 877-986-7771. You give them a call, tell them Ed Opperman sent you, get a good deal. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Perhaps your current business wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country. Maybe the facility you manage could kickstart revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Well, CartKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CartKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail coffee, food, carts, and kiosks that money can buy. For 20 years, CartKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor and outdoor carts and kiosks for any application. So what you do is, if you want to make some extra money, you want to go into business, you don't have a big budget, you go to CartKing.com, you check out the website, check out all the different styles of these carts and kiosks you can buy from them. They'll custom design it for you. They'll custom build it. They'll ship it worldwide. You contact a mall or a hospital or even a hotel lobby. Tell them, hey, I want to come in your lobby, sell some coffee or flowers or baseball caps, whatever you got there, and you're in business. CartKing.com, 877-986-7771. Okay, we have today a young man named Jamie Dlux, who's got a YouTube channel. It's called Uploads from Jamie Dlux. He covers a lot of the same topics we cover here, too. He's been on with William Ramsey in the past. All this kind of Hollywood pedogate and this kind of stuff. Jamie, and he's the author of not the author of a book, but he's in a book, which is sometimes better than writing a book, by the way, too. When they write about you, you know what I mean? It kind of feels a little bit better. When they write about you, you know, well, you've done something, you know, but you write a book. Anybody can write a book. Jamie, Poetry's Not Dead, a collection of poems by Southern punks. You're a poet, too?
Evidently, yeah. Something else I fell into.
Tell us about yourself. Who is Jamie Dlux? Don't let me describe it. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a musician. I used to try to, make it playing music. I've toured most of the country with some famous 80s bands. Not really famous, but like Bang Tango, they were pretty big in the 80s. Played with Wasp, LA Guns, stuff like that. Just as an opening act, so I never really got anywhere. And then I, years later, stumbled into the pedogate stuff and couldn't stop.
So how would you describe your YouTube channel?
Well, it's kind of evolved, but basically I was inspired by other YouTubers that were pretty much investigating all that stuff on WikiLeaks and everything, and I was kind of thinking, well, I can do this, and I just never had the courage to do it. And then I was like, well, just do it. It's the only way you can do it. So I just started doing it, and I got better. So people, they tend to like the content. It's dark. It's really, I try to bring it out in a lighter way, and I hate using, but I feel like we should go, just make it a little easy. And I've been really being self much and putting it out the back in a creative way. But it seems to be working.
Yeah, when you're on William's show, I can tell it's very popular. You have a huge fan base there. What do we get? Okay, I was Googling you here, and you had something about the Britney Spears family. Okay. What I did was I did it on Nickelodeon. I did a 5-part series on Dan Schneider. Okay. And I used a bunch of the blind items in that. So that's what it was. And like the rumor is, like I said, I don't know the truth in any of this. I can just connect with dots I can and put out what information I can. The rumor is that her baby when she was 16 was Dan Schneider's baby. Oh, really?
Yeah. Jamie Lynn Spears' baby, not Britney.
Okay.
Yeah, Jamie Lynn Spears. I haven't really gotten to Britney that much, honestly, because I guess there's only so much you can do, because there's so much of this out there. But I can't stop. I know that.
Yeah, she's always seemed like an interesting character, especially when she was being handled by that guy, Sam Lufty. Did you come across his name?
No, I didn't come across his name yet.
Oh, very interesting, yeah, because he was her manager during the time when she was having that big crazy breakdown with the shaving the head.
Shaving the head, yep.
Yeah. And then later on, he's just popped up again. Because I was just telling you off the air, I was just talking to Hank Harrison, Courtney Love's father.
Yeah.
He's just turned up again with Courtney Love.
That's weird.
Yeah. And
I don't know. Like, I know that on Andy Lawyer's Patreon page, he does a podcast, and it's $5 a month, and you subscribe to it or whatever, and he does a lot of reveals on there now. It's fairly new, but I know he just did a big one on Britney Spears. I haven't had a chance to listen yet, though, but I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, now that's interesting. Now, there used to be a website, well, there still is a website called Crazy Days and Crazy Nights, and it's supposedly by an entertainment lawyer, and I always had a suspicion of who I thought it was, okay?
Yeah?
Yeah, because I'm in, well, I would know this stuff, you know? Now, the thing is, but when I hear his voice, I don't recognize this guy whatsoever. Has he come forward and revealed who he is?
He has not.
Okay, but now he has a paid podcast where you can hear his voice. It's not distorted in any way. Like, wouldn't people, if he was really like an insider entertainment lawyer, wouldn't people know who he is?
Probably. Honestly, I don't think he's a lawyer.
Okay.
I think that's just like personally, I don't think he is. I think he's a guy that was in their entertainment business somewhere in the background, and basically has a lot of trust and a lot of people that give him information and he reports it or whatever. Maybe he is a lawyer. I don't know.
Does he claim to be a lawyer?
He's never, that I've heard, he's never said it out loud. But I mean, he does, like, in his description on Twitter or description of that, you know. But I think it's just like an alias, honestly. And like it's like how do you know who to trust and stuff like that, right? Including this Crazy Days and Nights. But I just seem to see a pattern that a lot of the stuff they put out does come true later on.
Well, give us an example.
Well, he apparently he outed Weinstein.
Right.
Way beforehand. Matt Lauer beforehand. Kevin Spacey beforehand. Nixium. I did one on Nixium, and he outed that. He was talking about them in 2012 and about underage sex and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, but everyone knew about Weinstein. Everybody knew about what's his name, Spacey. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe not everybody. I didn't know anything about him, but I didn't know who Weinstein was. I was on the East Coast too, you know.
You're on the East Coast in Virginia, something like that?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I had never heard of him before. I didn't know any of this stuff.
Okay.
But it might be well known more over there on the West Coast, or just people that know more about, you know. Like, I didn't even know who Weinstein was.
Oh, the Weinstein stuff was notorious, about the stuff that people still aren't talking about Weinstein that people know.
I'm sure.
You know? Yeah.
Just scratch the surface, you know?
Yeah, There's it's coming out a little bit when they talk about how he's using these Israeli Mossad agents and stuff like that. You know, it's sort of coming out a little bit, you know, but still there's a ton of stuff about him that's not coming out at all. What can you tell us about Nexium? I haven't done much about that. I haven't even done much research on it. What can you tell us about this Nexium cult?
All I know about it is, well, he was branding girls down there,
right.
You know, with his Alison Mack's initials. Definitely some people in the entertainment business, like Alison Mack, and I think there was like another girl that was in it that left, but she was on that show with Alison Mack too, whatever that show was. I forget what it's called. Superman show. What is it?
I don't know. I don't watch that much TV like that kind of stuff, you know?
Me neither. So it's like, I'm putting this info out that I know nothing about, but I see where it connects and where, like, there's facts behind stuff when I can find it. If you want me to give you a good example, the last video I just did. The last video I just did was a combination of two blind items, and they talked about a prominent B actor that was a mostly TV actor, dying of AIDS in the early 90s. And he died of AIDS from a manager in the entertainment industry that passed him around. He was a children's manager in the 70s in another state.
Okay.
Pretty much. So, I mean, it sounds so confusing. And it is. They do get confusing. I guess my brain works well with the word riddles as opposed to, like, math or something like that. So what it is I dug for a while, and I was looking at actors that were mostly in TV that died in the early 90s of AIDS. because supposedly the manager gave him AIDS, is what they were saying in the blind item.
Okay.
So, all right, so dug and dug and dug, and then one stood out. Well, no, I mean a bunch. You know, there's actors that died of AIDS that were like nobody knew their names or anything in the '90s. But as I'm digging, I'm looking through everyone's IMDb and seeing what connects, and I saw a name under this guy's thing in a movie. The casting director was Michael Hara, and that I knew that name. I'm like, where do I know that name? And then it popped in, and I remember watching An Open Secret. And Michael Hara is a guy that pretty much admitted to trying to molest this guy on the phone. He's like, I shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. So in the movie, the guy outs himself, pretty much, you know, not even knowing it. I don't know. You've never seen An Open Secret, have you?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. I don't know if you remember at the end, the guy's like, she's like, oh, you like young boys? He's like, not particularly, or whatever. And then the guy, he calls him. He's like, oh, Mike, or whatever the guy's name is. I was just thinking about you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I shouldn't have done that. Well, that's the guy. And I found out he was the casting director. Then I dug more. I found papers from the 1970s with this casting director in Reno, Nevada. So it was a different state, managing kids. And this guy, Phil Linton, that I found that he casted him in that some movie in 1984. So he was around since the 70s with him managing him when he was a kid. And it all just like snapped.
And so then who did you determine was the B actor with the AIDS?
Philip Linton. He died in 1992 of AIDS. He was in 21 Jump Street. He was in a bunch of shows. There was more clues to it, too. There was more clues to it, like his breakout performance. He never got to see it. Like a month before it came out, it was a TV movie with Jim Carrey, Lori Laughlin. So he, you know, and it was like a bigger TV movie. I forget what it was called. I just put this video out too. I wish I could know. Nothing that rings a bell, but
okay.
Doing time on street. All right, that's no good. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, now how about this? You did some research into the Johnny Depp deep dive there with the Viper Room. Where'd you come up with that?
Yeah. All right, with that, basically, well, first off, it starts off with like the news was that when Winona and Johnny started dating, it was right after she turned 18, like on her 18th birthday, pretty much, and he was saying that that they actually met on the set of Lucas. Because he was hooking up with the one of the other girls from Lucas. I can't remember her name right now. It was something weird, something Smith.
Depp actually said that he was loitering around the set of Lucas?
Depp didn't. That's what Anti-Lawyer said on the podcast.
Okay, Anti-Lawyer says okay.
Yeah, so he says that. That really has nothing to do with the rest of it, but that's where I started my video at least. But then you go forward a few years. Like, basically, what he says pretty much is Depp's a very jealous drunk. And we've learned that later on because he cut his tip of his finger off drunk and started scrawling the names of his people he was accusing his wife of sleeping with. Like, I put that in there too. That's why I know that, just because he was jealous and drunk, and the people were just the other actors in the movie she was starring in. So you go back, and he's saying that he suspects that Depp slipped River the heroin.
Right.
That's what he's saying because of jealousy, because River Phoenix and Winona Ryder were set to star in a movie together. So, I mean, I did find that, but of course it's nothing I confirm or anything like that. But this is what this guy's saying. So, they were going to star in a movie together, but then it goes on. What else happened? The biggest thing that seems more like you can connect is his business partner, Anthony Fox, went missing. He was suing Depp, and he was suing Depp's silent partners. Basically, Depp blew all the money on drugs because he had a really bad drug problem then, and he wasn't bringing in the money he did from the pirate days. This is before that. So he pretty much was just ripping off the Viper Room. And the guy that owned it, the other owner, Anthony Fox, was taking them to court to sue them. He was supposed to be getting millions of dollars in, money they stole from him. Well, what any lawyer was saying was that these the silent partners, he thinks are people in the mafia, like that just aren't going to play around. I'm trying to figure out who they might be because he was suing 4 people, Johnny and 3 other people that were silent partners. About a month before, and he was going to win the case. It was all out there, and he just went missing about a month before he was supposed to get the money, and they found his truck. He went missing. He had thousands of dollars in the bank, still there, still untouched to this day. This is 2001, and they never found him again. And then Depp ended up, I think, giving his share of the Viper Room to this guy's daughter a couple years later. So basically, not saying he did it, but it seems like he knows who did it at least.
Yeah. There's a lot of shadiness around that Viper Room. There's all kind of accusations, there's connections to the OJ murders and stuff like that. And all kinds of coke dealing and all kinds of shenanigans going on there.
That's what I hear.
Yeah,
it's been going on for years there. Evidently, it's just like a club, even before it was a Viper Room. It's just notorious spot, I guess.
It's interesting too because I've had people contact me about Depp with stuff off the air and different kinds of allegations and stuff. And just recently there was a lawsuit against him by his own security forces.
Yeah, I think I saw that. I've only done the first part, but there's going to be a bunch more. Wasn't he? Or they're suing him?
Yeah, they're
security
suing him.
Forces.
And there's one line in there about how they were transporting underage children and drugs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
I'm going to dig for that thing because I still got to put out part 2. And I'm going to be looking into the West Memphis 3 and all that kind of stuff with part 2 once I get there. But dang, I got to look for that.
Oh, no, there's some good stuff in there, man. And now what about West Memphis 3? Have you looked into all that stuff with Depp and Damien Eccles and all that?
I've started. It's weird, man, because like I said, I'm a musician. I play with a lot of 80s bands and,
right.
Underground punk bands and stuff. And I remember when this happened. And from my point of view back then, all my favorite musicians were supporting them. And I'll tell you, from a more closed-off perspective, back then when it happened, I'll tell you what we thought, just as normal kids or whatever, we thought that they were just getting accused because they looked different.
Right.
That's because we didn't pay attention to all the details or anything like that. Then I heard about it. Like I said, we looked into it last year a little bit, and my stomach turned. It really did. Oh, but I guess, yeah, I don't really know. I don't know everything about it, but I know that he moved into Depp's house, and they got matching tattoos with Marilyn Manson too. All 3 of them.
Yeah.
So they served 19 years in prison for murdering those 3 boys or something like that.
Yeah. You got to take a look into that. There's a lot of weird stuff, and it seems to be that the same kind of allegations I hear about the Depp all over the place come up again with his association with Eccles. And let's take a little commercial break. I forgot to tell you off the air, but every 20 minutes is a commercial break. It's about 3 minutes long. You won't be able to hear it, and we can't talk to each other, but it's about 3 minutes. So we'll be right back with more of Jamie Dlux. His YouTube channel is called Uploads from Jamie Dlux, and he's in his book here called Poetry's Not Dead, a collection of poems by Southern Punks. It's
a mouthful, I know.
No, I was trying to say Jamie Dlux, Punks Deluxe. Deluxe.
It's ridiculous.
We'll be right back after these messages. And more Jamie Dlux. Thank you.
And now a word from our sponsors. The Opperman Report is brought to you by SubhashTechnosis.com. Subash Technosis is a search engine optimization and website design company. They're located in India, so you're going to save a lot of money and get top quality service. They offer all sorts of business process outsourcing, data entry, banking BPO services, recruitment process outsourcing, software testing, offshoring, research network, customer care, press release, content writing and distribution, and much, much more. Now, you can get a hold of Subhash Technosis by email at info@subhashtechnosis.com. Their website is www.subhashtechnosis.com, and their Skype is ANUSHASUBASH. Check out CartKing.com, 877-986-7771. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Perhaps your current business wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country quickly. Maybe the facility you manage could kickstart revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services, like let's say you own an office building or a warehouse. Put one of these carts there in the lobby. Well, CartKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CartKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail coffee and food carts and kiosks money can buy. For 20 years, CartKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor and outdoor carts and kiosks for any application. From large, heated, and secure outdoor retail or food kiosks to smaller, more mobile coffee kiosks or coffee stations, coffee carts, CartKing.com designs and builds them all. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on the website, CartKing.com. Please visit today at CartKing.com or just call them at 877-986-7771. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you and you get a good deal. Remember, all these shows on Awake are brought to you by emailrevealer.com. You can go to emailrevealer.com and get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. You also do all the kind of different services for you. Online dating service investigations called an online infidelity investigation. And that's where you give us your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend's email address, and we trace it back to their online dating websites, and we return a list of all the dating sites that email is registered to. We can expand on that investigation and trace it back to porn sites, escort service sites, swinger sites, gambling websites, and even prescription drug websites, and all kinds of digital forensics, computer and cell phone digital forensics, where we can recover deleted content from an email or a hard drive and produce a report for you that you can use in court. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can contact me at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. We're joined today by Jamie Dlux. Dlux. You can find him on YouTube, on his YouTube channel. It's so funny. I can hear Jamie. He did me a favor by coming on today during his lunch break. So I'm guessing you're out in the parking lot in your car.
I'm sitting in the car, kind of like around the corner.
And I can hear him chewing and swallowing, gulping down food.
Hey, I'm gulping down an energy drink.
Yeah,
trying to wake up a little bit for you.
The audience can't hear it, so don't worry. But it reminds me of the show I did. If you go to my member section, I did a show with Maurice Simonet, the guy from Blacks for Trump, the guy who's behind Trump at the rallies, the black guy holding up they call him Michael the Black Guy.
Michael Black Guy.
Yeah, and it turns out he has this crazy backstory. He was involved in his cult and everything. He tried to chop off a guy's head with a machete. Okay, was charged with this. The cult killed 13 people. It's a fascinating story. But he's in the parking lot too, as I'm at the, and he starts getting into a fight with another guy in the parking lot during the show. Okay, so let's all keep our good thoughts for Jamie here. He doesn't get attacked in the parking lot here.
It's all right. I'm not violent. I'm not going to pull a machete on anybody. I don't even have a machete, so I don't know.
Yeah. But as a matter of fact, the machete was so dull he couldn't cut the guy's head off. It was too dull.
God.
It's a fascinating story.
It sounds it. I have to listen to that one.
I'm looking at your channel here, right? And I see Isaac Cappy. What do you make of the Isaac Cappy story?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't delve down there too much because, there's one thing I can admit that a lot of people can't. I don't know the truth to a lot of stuff.
Right.
Like a lot of people are for or against something. I really don't know the truth. I thought a lot of what you might be saying might be true, but I don't know if I don't think you went about it the right way. Just like raving like a lunatic on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't really know what his aim was. A lot of people are saying it's a scam. A lot of people are for him still. And I definitely don't want to go down that divide because where I can be honest and say I really don't know what his deal was.
Right.
I know he took off to Australia with Fiona Barnett. He's still hanging out there.
Oh, really? So, get out of here.
Here's what happened.
Yeah.
He got hit off a Periscope, supposedly.
Okay.
And then, what did he do? And then he posted a picture of himself with David Brock.
Right, I saw that.
Saying he was trolling him. And then gets on a plane and goes to Australia. He's been there for about 2 weeks or something like that. I don't know exactly, but around 2 weeks from now, he's still in Australia. It's kind of strange, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I had Fiona Barnett on my show. And,
Did you?
Oh, yeah, a long time ago. And 2 hours. And then I gave her a show. I gave her, because I owned I still own, it's kind of going under right now, Awake Radio. And I gave her a weekly show on there. Where she hosted her own show on there. And then she just disappeared one day.
Yeah.
Just kind of vanished on me there. So now she's hanging out with Isaac Cappy. Well, that's interesting. If I need to find her, I know where to look.
Yeah. I had my little spiel with her. It wasn't much.
Okay.
Somebody on Twitter, somebody said that I was buddies with an open secret. I
Right.
use a lot of them for a source in my videos. Doesn't mean I'm like good friends with them or anything. It's valid sources. Okay. So she's like, block the pedo, boy. And I took offense because I do a lot for this. I'm definitely not a pedo. That's like the worst thing you can call me.
Yeah.
But I will say, a lot of people stuck up for me, and she did apologize, and I accepted it because I'm not the guy that hold grudges and stuff, you know. So she did apologize, and I accepted it. That's all I can do about that, you know.
Now, what about, there was a big controversy the past year, too, with the Corey Feldman and Corey Haim and Jude Haim and the
It's
Angels.
funny you should say that.
Go ahead, what do you got?
Dominic Brasha, who is one of the people that was accused of molesting Corey Haim, died today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dominic died today.
What did he die from?
It said natural causes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And I'm wondering what kind of news is going to come out now that Dominic Brasha died today, because Dominic is the one that called out Charlie Sheen in the National Enquirer.
Right.
And Dominic is who Corey Haim's mother named, and Nicole Eggert named Brasha, too, on NT's podcast. She was a guest one day. And she's like, Corey told me it was Dominic. Yeah. And Marty Weiss today on Twitter saw that I posted that, shared it, because he added me on Twitter when I started following him. But, you know, how do you get information? I've seen what people say. That's how you get information. He shared it and called out Corey. He's like, well, now that he's dead, you're going to call him out and name him as Tony Burnham in your book. So I don't know what's going to happen, but Dominic died today. I do know that, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a new development for sure.
I think something's going to happen now. I think some name might be. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. See, that's another weird thing. That's when my channel started getting big. Is when I found Corey Feldman's for the guy he named that molested him. I'm the dude that found him, and Corey confirmed it on Twitter. He's like, great job. And then he went on Dr. Oz and all that shit. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. Yeah, he went on Dr. Oz and all that, and I didn't find out who he was because he left clues in his book. He called the guy Ron Crimson or something like that. Yeah, Ron Crimson. And everyone else had already figured out it was a guy named John Grissom. I confirmed it because he was in 2 of the movies at just like a tiny part. Like it was License to Drive, and I can't remember the other one right now. But I found him living in Mexico and sharing pictures on Facebook of Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. And I made a video. And then I guess he took off from Mexico to Canada. I really don't know what has happened since then. But it's just really crazy.
Did you ever get a chance to talk to Feldman or
No, I never
Judy
had a chance
Haim?
to talk to Feldman. I never had a chance. Because I saw that he said somebody on a fan, or I don't know if he's a fan or if he's just like somebody that's into researching this stuff, found him living in Mexico, sharing pictures of, but I never talked to him personally, no.
And what do you think about the allegations against Sheen?
I don't know what's true, but there are some weird things. When you start looking back, that's something I want to bring up to you, that when you mentioned the security guard suing Depp and talking about that kids. I don't know about kids, but I did a video on Heidi Fleiss.
Okay.
And what I did was I watched an old Hollywood True Story. They were a lot more open back then. Like they would just say stuff, and like, so it was the LA Times reporter talking about, all right, so she's in the interview and she's like, well, yeah, there was this blonde girl that got caught up, with a bad crowd, and Charlie Sheen gave her away as a birthday present. Wait a minute, gave her away as a birthday present? She says this. So I'm like, what are you talking about? Human trafficking here? Giving girls away? And she's talking about the prostitutes going over to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like they were a lot more open if you watch that stuff from back then. It's really good for researching because people would just say whatever, because we didn't pick up on it really,
Did you ever look at the stuff in Denise Richards' lawsuits?
Yes, about the porno.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've done many videos on Sheen. There's also another thing. He had like an underground crack den, apparently, according to Lenny Dystra.
Right.
So, yeah, if you move a bookshelf to get to an underground like room to smoke crack in, what else could be hiding under there? Who knows? It's something that stuck out in my mind.
I tell you, I can talk about. I was just dating Lenny Dykstra's ex-girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So, he's a funny dude. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a scumbag. Don't get me wrong, but at least he's like he admits it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What-
But yeah, he was saying all that. He was saying this like crackdown underground at Charlie Sheen's house.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, now Okay, so Isaac Cappy. Okay, what's this thing you got here about Wonderland? What's that about?
That was an old documentary I found called The Wonderland Club, and what it was. Well, I did a couple. I did one on that, and that was a child porn sting across like 7 countries, I believe. It was like one of the biggest busts ever, and it was in the early 2000s, like 2000 maybe. But there was another one I did on Lewis Carroll, and apparently he had a thing for Alice, who was a 5-year-old girl, like the real Alice that he wrote the book about.
Oh, really?
It's all in there, man. I'm just trying to connect with dots I can. Now that we live in this time, we can look in the past. We can see newspaper articles published, certain dates or date stamps, see what they say. We can kind of connect dots easier. So, and even though that was, I don't know, 150 years ago, there's still stuff there, though. He left journals. This page is missing out of his journals about him being kicked out of the wherever he was living with Alice's family. He was like the dean. I don't know if it's a college or church or whatever it was. And Lewis Carroll, that's his pen name. I don't remember his real name right now, but he was like a professor there. Yeah. And I think he had a thing for Alice. And he was taking new pictures of Alice's older sister, which was still underage. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
It really is.
Yeah. Okay.
It's sad. It's sad, but I feel like it's what I can do to help. All I can do is bring some of these issues to the light, and because you got to know it's there for the problem to be fixed. I can't fix it.
Well, let me ask you a question about that, because when we do talk about these topics, and a lot of people are out there right now, they want to expose this and expose that. But do you think it's really doing any good since really nothing is happening to even slow this kind of activity down? And by us talking about it, it just kind of people just thinks, well, everybody's doing it. It doesn't really matter because so many people do it. They're all guilty. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this might sound a little out there. But see, I had a quote unquote spiritual awakening before all this stuff, and I'm not going to go too far into that. But you start looking more into stuff, and do you know what the word apocalypse actually means?
I did it one time, but
the original meaning of apocalypse is uncovering.
Okay.
In Greek, means not or un, and apocalypse means covered. So it's uncovering, it's disclosures. I think it's like the time we're living in, with technology and everything, but it can't all come out at once, because our heads would blow up. We can't handle it. It's kind of got to leak for a little bit before the dam bursts, Maybe I'm talking, personal experience too, because I find I look at the news cycles every day. It just comes so fast, you can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was faster. Well, I think eventually.
Well, then, but you think there's an organized attempt to expose all this going on, and that and we're slowly being fed this information?
I don't. Yeah, maybe even organized from above the planet. I'm not saying anything in particular, but just more than we realize. Possibly. But yeah, I don't think it can all come out at once, because if I knew everything I know now from 2 years ago, my head would have probably exploded. At this point, I still don't know anything. But it's all. We can only take so much, I think, because so much has been hidden from us.
So then, what do you think when you see this phenomenon, this QAnon phenomenon about Trump is rounding up pedophiles and all this kind of stuff? What do you think of that stuff?
I never delved too far into that, and I realize it's a touchy topic, and that's something you realize when you start a channel or anything.
Yeah.
You're going to have people that follow you that are for something, and you're going to have people that follow you that are against this something, and that's one of those somethings. Luckily, I guess it's just that admitting that I really don't I had to really expand my mind and realize everything that we know we were told, and we really don't know what the truth is, and that goes beyond way back, and not anybody on purpose. It's not like teachers are lying to us on purpose. Some might be, but it's what they were taught, and then parents and what they were taught. It goes back generations. So, that's something I can see where some stuff makes sense, but I don't know why. I don't know if it's a Pied Piper thing, follow this and just like while we screw everything else up, or I don't know.
Well, let me ask you a question then. What do you make of, because on YouTube, right, there's a lot of, do you have like disputes with other YouTubers and stuff?
I try my best not to. I really do. I hate it. The drama is a distraction.
Right.
So I do have a couple that try to like start drama with me, but I try not to as much as possible, because to me it's just a distraction. And yes, conflict creates a buzz. It's not the kind of buzz I want, though.
And what about like the comments you see on YouTube? Because I got to tell you, I wake up Saturday morning, I wake up Sunday morning, and I see these comments, and I think they're insane. I think half of them are just insane.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's so many different opinions, and we're realizing that now. It's just like before internet and stuff, you just talk. You talk to people.
Yeah. Usually
the same people every day. Maybe if you work somewhere in public, you talk to more people. But you're hearing everyone's opinions now, and it's like there's so many. There's so many different opinions, and so many like hard beliefs that people believe this, that, or the other thing. I just try not to think people.
Okay. And do you see a downside though to your activity on the internet on YouTube?
Oh yeah. It takes a lot out of me. I feel like.
Yeah.
It's a lot of dark things to dig through, and stuff that makes you want to throw up reading it, or hearing testimony and stuff like that. That's a downside. It causes downsides from home, because I have a family. YouTube's just a hobby. And it does cause some drama. But I try not to let it affect me. It's hard when people make videos about you, somebody made a video about me because I use the blind items, but I don't know if it's true. I just know a lot of the patterns come out to be true later on.
Now, I see you have a series on here called The Producer. Can you tell us what that's about?
That's the one about Dan Schneider. There's 5 of them on there where I go through all those blind items and articles. Yeah, there's a lot to put together. Definitely a lot to put together. But we keep hoping something happens, but I still have hope, though. I'm not like I would have given up a long time ago, because it wouldn't be worth the stress. Because it is. That 3 hardest things I've done in my life. I'm a recovering addict. I got off methadone after 10 years at the methadone clinic. That was hard. That was very hard. I had kids and have a family. That's very hard. And a YouTube channel. The 3 hardest things I've done in my life. Just because of all the stress that comes from it. And like you said, comments or people trying to like argue with you and stuff like that. And I don't argue. I got a girlfriend for that.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? I don't go online for an argument.
Ooh. Now, what do you got here about R. Kelly?
R. Kelly, I hear that, well, what we have all heard about him in the past. I think Dave Chappelle talked about that. But I'm talking about golden showers, if you didn't realize it.
Sure.
And basically that, yeah, he pretty much grooms like 14-year-old girls. And I think I read some blind items about some apartments in Atlanta, or not apartments, houses in Atlanta that he got evicted from. They had like chain hooks on the walls and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was just a lawsuit with him too, with this woman's claiming that he was keeping these girls in cages and stuff.
Yeah. See, I didn't even know that, but I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I only did one video of him. It was short. There's so many people. Like, I wish I could do this full time. But my videos, I use my phone. I have a little iPhone, and I make everything on that. And that impresses a lot of people, but I do put a lot of work in them, so they take me a little while. It's just how much I can delve into it,
What'd you, Natalie Wood, The Truth Will Out, what'd you come up with that?
Basically what it comes down, this is the final answer, like the outcome that I've heard is the truth. I heard he didn't mean to push her. Well, he didn't push her. All right, here's what I've heard happen. That he was jealous. Robert Wagner was jealous over her, and he's a weird guy in all those movies. Christopher Walken? Yeah, Christopher Walken. And, of course, they were drunk, doing drugs, arguing. And she was actually more violent towards him than he was towards her. So, because there was new witnesses that came out not too long ago, a few years ago. And this is their testimony, that she went after him and slipped and fell. But instead of helping her, he laughed at her. and just like it's like, oh, you could swim, just being a bit, and the captain came over trying to beat on the door, telling him to save her. He's like, mind your own damn business. That's what I pretty much heard. And like after 20 minutes, the scream stopped, and there you go. And they made a mistake. And I found out that the lawyer that they called something Zinkus, I think. So he was the lawyer that on TV back when this happened. I don't know, 1981 or something, 80. When this happened, he was the one that was telling the stories like, yeah, they called the paramedics or 911, and they called me, blah, blah, blah. I came up here telling the story. Well, I found articles. This is an old cleaner / mob lawyer. So the lawyer they had, he died in like 1987, was like an old cleaner, like the wolf from Pulp Fiction, cleaning up messes. So I was like, what? Are you serious? Like, so I think they were trying to clean up the mess, pretty much.
What do you got on Ted Nugent?
Well, he pretty much admitted everything himself in that video. All right, supposedly, it's funny you said Courtney Love. Supposedly, Courtney Love gave him some oral when she was 12. Yeah. That's from her words. He's got songs about like being a predator. Talks about, what did he do? I think he adopted this girl that he married or something like that. She was like 17, but he was like 33. Anyway, I think he married her. He might have adopted her. It was a while ago.
You thinking of Aerosmith, maybe?
No, this is Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent adopted one too?
I heard the new one about Aerosmith, though. Yeah. Which is kind of crazy because my uncle, I don't even tell a lot of people this because nobody believes me. My uncle was one of the original guitar players of Aerosmith before they were famous. I'm from Boston originally. Well, south of Boston. I moved to South Carolina when I was 11. He just died last year, too. He lived a pretty miserable life because he never made it, and they went out and got famous and all that, so he wasn't like happy. Well, he was, but yeah, so that kind of hurts my heart a little bit, but the truth is the truth, and I'm not going to be biased about any of it.
Yeah, the whole Aerosmith story is pretty creepy, man, because he also forced her to get an abortion, and there was a suspicious fire. There's a lot of bizarre stuff there, and you're right. Ted Nugent did adopt an underage girl at one time who legally became his daughter when he was over 30 years old.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's been a while since I made that one. It's like I make them, I put them out, and I don't look back because I feel like I'm on a timer here, and I don't even know why. Because I don't even know what I'm doing, but it seems to be working, whatever it is.
Well, then let me ask you a question then. Aren't you concerned that perhaps maybe you could be infiltrated and people are influencing you to put out this information?
I already have been infiltrated.
Okay.
And it got me pretty bad. And I've learned to not be so open. There's a bigger channel in Australia called Mr. Gunk.
Okay.
He's changed his name to Fully Sourced, which was his website's name anyway. He's still up. I got really close to him, and we were doing live streams together and stuff. He put out similar videos, kind of similar to mine. And he was good at it. Well, getting close to him, talking to him all the time on his live streams and all that, we find out through a Discord chat, it's like a chat room. I don't even have it anymore because it's too much drama. But we find out that he was like talking to and receiving naked pictures from a 15-year-old girl in Iceland, because that's where he's from originally. And he was like 33 at the time. I think he's like 35, 36 now. So it was only 2 or 3 years ago that it happened. And I was pushed to go live with this information from his main moderator guy, the guy that was like the head of his channel pretty much, did all the back the online stuff for him, named Train. That's the guy's name. So he's the one that gave me the info. He's the one that pushed me to go live with the info. The next day, I found out that he was convicted of child pornography of some images called like 5-year-old girl, and I don't want to say anything else. That's court documents and everything we found, and he's the one that pushed me to go forward with the other thing, and it threw me through a loop. Like I don't know what happened. Like he had me out this other guy, and then we found out that he needed to be outed too. But I don't know where he went. He kind of disappeared. But Fully Sourced is still online. I just don't know. But yeah, I was infiltrated.
Yeah, we just had a little incident with that too. I had Mike Parziale on the show, and that guy Gunk, had produced a little. Mike Porzello is the guy behind the whole Wade Robeson support group, Michael Jackson stuff, and and Gunk did a video for him, and then we found out that Gunk is involved in all this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, damn, man. Gunk gets around, and Gunk's kind of sticky because I keep having to explain to myself, all I can do, which is cut all ties with him. I want nothing to do with him anymore. There's nothing more I can do. The info's out there. The live stream with him admitting it on my channel is there. Yeah. It's called, Where Do We Go From Here is the name of the live stream. And he even gets on it later. Yeah, I'm still paying for it. This was back in May. Yeah. Like, it hit me pretty hard because I liked him a lot.
Yeah, so did Mike. Yeah, Mike's a straight up guy, and he thought it was okay too. You did some looking into this Seth Rich situation?
Just a little bit, just nothing major when it was happening. I did back then, but nothing I could find, nothing any different than anybody else says. Yeah, I never stuck to that one, but there are people like that Matt Couch guy is still talking about him all the time.
Yeah,
I think he said something today. I don't even know. But, I was just trying to keep up with everything. It's definitely too much.
And what did you conclude with the Pizzagate?
I came to the final conclusion that there's code words in there. And I can't say 100%, but I still think there's something there.
Oh, yeah.
Personally, a lot of people are... Now, if you talk about that, a lot of people come after you that way and say that you're just about money and stuff. And it's never been about money. My channel's not even monetized. I have almost 30,000 subscribers, But, I mean, I can't confirm that's what it all meant, but I can confirm they're definitely code words. And I can confirm that some of those words have been used for other reasons before. And I just had to drive back from Massachusetts with my mother because she had to inherit my grandmother's car. We stopped on the way back to South Carolina. It was 2 a.m. on a Saturday night. This was just a month ago. We stopped down Connecticut Avenue, and it was 1:30. They were closed. I went to the gas station across from Comet Ping Pong, and Comet was closed. Everything was closed. There was a guy on the street screaming that was like high on Flocka or one of those new drugs. I don't know what those drugs are, but he's just like some weird guy on the street screaming. That's all I saw.
What was he screaming?
He's screaming. I don't know. He was just, you ever seen your place? If you look at a video like High on Flocka, Flak, whatever, I don't know. They're just on drugs and just screaming. I don't remember. It was like 1:30 in the morning. I was, just like trying to drive and all that, and nothing was open. I was kind of disappointed because I had never got a chance to go down that area, but it was all closed on a Saturday night too.
Yeah, but in some places though, 2 o'clock in the morning is considered late.
Yeah.
I'm in Vegas now here, so we're 24 hours.
I've played Vegas before, many years ago, but I have, yeah.
Okay.
Myrtle Beach, I live in Myrtle Beach. It's like a small Vegas without the gambling.
Let's take a commercial break. We're with Jamie Dlux. You can check out his YouTube channel, uploads from Jamie Dlux. And also, too, he's in a book. He's written some poetry in this book here called Poetry's Not Dead, a collection of poems by Southern punks. We'll be right back with more of Jamie Dlux after these messages.
And now a word from our sponsors. The Opperman Report is brought to you by SubhashTechnosis.com. Subash Technosis is a search engine optimization and website design company. They're located in India, so you're going to save a lot of money and get top quality service. They offer all sorts of business process outsourcing, data entry, banking BPO services, recruitment process outsourcing, software testing, offshoring, research network, customer care, press release, content writing and distribution, and much, much more. Now, you can get a hold of Subhash Technosis by email at info@subhashtechnosis.com. Their website is www.subhashtechnosis.com, and their Skype is ANUSHASUBASH. Check out CartKing.com, 877-986-7771. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Perhaps your current business wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country quickly. Maybe the facility you manage could kickstart revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services, like let's say you own an office building or a warehouse. Put one of these carts there in the lobby. Well, CartKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CartKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail coffee and food carts and kiosks money can buy. For 20 years, CartKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor and outdoor carts and kiosks for any application. From large, heated, and secure outdoor retail or food kiosks to smaller, more mobile coffee kiosks or coffee stations, coffee carts, CartKing.com designs and builds them all. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on the website, CartKing.com. Please visit today at CartKing.com or just call them at 877-986-7771. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you and you get a good deal. Remember, all these shows on Awake are brought to you by emailrevealer.com. You can go to emailrevealer.com and get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. You also do all the kind of different services for you. Online dating service investigations called an online infidelity investigation. And that's where you give us your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend's email address, and we trace it back to their online dating websites. And we return a list of all the dating sites that email is registered to. We can expand our night investigation and trace it back to porn sites, escort service sites, swinger sites, gambling websites, and even prescription drug websites, and all kinds of digital forensics, computer and cell phone digital forensics, where we can recover deleted content from an email or a hard drive and produce a report for you that you can use in court. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can contact me at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. We're here today with Jamie Dlux, a musician, a YouTuber, and poetry writer.
Artist,
Poet.
photographer, videographer, whatever.
Yeah, there you
anything
go.
Artistic, anything artistic.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Hey, what's this stuff in the YouTube channel about the mogul?
The mogul is about the mogul, David Geffen.
Oh, okay. What do you got there?
Yeah, a lot of stuff. There's a lot of rumors about him. Where to start? Well, I guess for starters, I think a lot of it has to do. I think you could tie him in, at least, to a movie that was being produced and never got produced, called The Silent Children. It was a documentary about children being sold overseas and used for sex and organ harvesting. Okay. Now, this is the reason, or supposedly, allegedly, could be the reason why Chris Cornell, while Chester Bennington, and while, what's his name? Leroy? I can't remember his name. The saxophone player of Dave Matthews Band. I feel bad not knowing his name. It was Leroy something. Why they all died. That could be the reason why. Yeah, because Chris Cornell was going to fund it. Chester Bennington was going to be in it, and Leroy from the Dave Matthews Band was the one that started it with his fiance. Back before he died. He died in like 2008. That's when it was started. It was like the whole production was going to start.
Yeah, there's a heavy connection too with the Courtney Love and the David Geffen as well too. Yeah, she's flying around.
Yeah.
He makes his jet available to her.
Really?
Yeah.
I know there's more with her because a lot of this really that's like the messed up part. Like the more you look into it, so much more connects.
Right. Well, too, she was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane as well.
Yeah.
And also too was Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
and
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. Yeah. Well, Chris Tucker. He flew around. He has his own private plane, by the way. And
really?
Oh yeah, and he picked up Gavin Arvizo when the Martin Bashir documentary came out. And all the press started jumping down on Gavin Arvizo. Michael Jackson picked up the phone to Chris Tucker and he says, "Go get that little boy and bring him over here to me." And Chris Tucker was okay. I went and got him. I brought him over there.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's all connected. But you had some stuff about Epstein too. I saw something about the Lolita Express.
I did one about Epstein. I just felt. Because I was following blinds again. Like I don't use blind items in all my videos. I enjoy using them, so I use them a lot. Pretty much they were outing Woody Harrelson. What's the guy's name?
Woody Allen.
Woody Allen. Kevin Spacey, of course, and alluding to Bryan Singer going there. Now the reason you can't find Bryan Singer going there is because he would take a yacht. He wouldn't fly because he didn't want to be on the record. because he was actually a pretty smart guy about some of his stuff, but I think he got too big-headed. He couldn't hide it anymore. But supposedly Kevin Spacey was the worst. He got pretty much disinvited to the island. I heard he got disinvited to Bohemian Grove too, for taking pictures and stuff.
That's interesting. Hey, you know what, man? We're out of time, but we only got about a minute left. What do you want to leave us with?
I want to leave you with thanking you very much. This has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. It's been a good time. Just keep checking out my stuff, because I probably upload like twice a week if I can. It's just how long it takes me to get stuff out.
And do you have anything coming up that you're working on?
Definitely Death Part 2.
Okay.
And there's some blind item reveals that they've already been revealed. Because sometimes they'll give you the answer, but I just like to put together my way of putting it out. So, yeah, I'll have one of those soon.
You know what?
Harry Potter.
I might start sending you some blind items. You know, there's a lot of stuff I'd love to talk about that I don't. But let's see. Maybe I'll keep you in mind. Jamie Dlux.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for coming on, especially coming out at the last minute for me like this. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you, brother.
I went better off the cuff. So.
Okay, great. Okay, be careful in that parking lot.
Yeah.
Don't get any tickets, man. All right, thank you so much, Jamie Dlux. Good night.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so then here we had Jamie Dlux. His website is Uploads by Jamie Dlux on YouTube. He's in this book. Some of his poetry's in this book here called Poetry's Not Dead, a collection of poems by Southern punks. A lot of good content there on his channel. Check it out. If you enjoyed today's show, check out OppermanReport.com. We have our members section. A lot of stuff we talked about tonight with Jamie is up there in the members section. And all this kind of work we're doing over here, that, we're in a desperate situation here to keep the show on the air. Okay, might as well be blunt with you. If we don't get some donations quickly and some memberships quickly, the show will be off the air. We just lost a KYAHRAM platform, and we're losing Wake Radio to our station there that Fiona Barnett was on and stuff like that. So if you enjoy the show you're hearing and you want to keep it on the air, you want to keep hearing it, we're going to need some donations, at OppermanReport@gmail.com. There's a donate button on our website at OppermanReport.com, or you can become a member too. You can sign up and become a member. Give it 13 months for $65. So once again, thank you so much there, Jamie Dlux. Good night.